Hey everyone, I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you have had a good week. For those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, welcome, welcome. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I'm going to make a few announcements, and then for those of you especially who are new, mental health moment is all about how do you become the best version of who you are so you can show up powerfully for yourself and for the people around you. So we talk a lot on mental health moment about different wellness tips, things you can do to take care of yourself, things you can do again to grow as a person, personally and professionally. So a couple of announcements before I get started here today on today's mental health moment, and thanks for those who are starting to join here. Still let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from. Right now I'm actually on a layover because I have to get my next flight soon. Coming from Mississippi, and now I'm in Atlanta. But I live in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. But nonetheless, again, just let me know where you're tuning in from here in the chat. So I will be announcing here soon. I know some of you actually have reached out of when I'm speaking and where I'm speaking at this year, which when the event is open to the public, a lot of them are not, unfortunately. They're private events for different companies and organizations. But when they are open to the public events, especially if they're virtual, because I know this is a community from a lot of different places, then of course I will let you all know. So there's a super exciting virtual women's summit coming up here soon. So as soon as I, okay, that's, yep, as soon as I, just ignore the earring that fell out my ear. But as soon as I get that information, I'm definitely going to pass it along to you, and I'll announce that information as soon as I have it. But it will be maybe next week or the week after that I'll probably have that information for you all. And again, it's a women's summit, it's a leadership summit, and it's virtual and it's free. So I'll be sure to give you all that information. But I'm super excited to be speaking at that summit as it is rapidly coming up here. So that the other thing that I wanted to share with you all is that I did release my newest book, Mindset Training: Holistic Self-Care to Conquer Your Mind, which is a part 2, and it's an expanded second edition to my first mindset training book, which some of you probably know that pretty well. I went through the whole entire book, every chapter, and just highlighted for you all at the end of last year. If you missed that, you can always go to Dr. Nekeshia Hammond YouTube and just rewatch the videos. But nonetheless, I wanted to let you know about the newest books. I'm super excited about that. That is on Amazon, as well as a complimentary journal to those books as well. So it's all on not just Amazon, but Amazon and different online book outlets. So I wanted to share that with you all. And again, the new book name is Mindset Training: Holistic Self-Care to Conquer Your Mind, because I really wanted to share even more information about this notion of, which is what mental health moment is all about, right? About this notion of how we can look at ourselves holistically, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally when it comes to our self-care and when it comes to us growing and thriving as people. So that's what the continuation of the book is essentially, and a lot more reflection time in there, and still very practical strategies for you to try. That being said, those are my announcements for today. But again, thanks for those who are starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. If you're just tuning in, I was apologizing earlier that I can't be here live with each of you, but I will be on a plane, which, as we know, I cannot be in 2 places at once. So it's hard to do mental health moment on a plane, which I cannot obviously do. Streaming live, if only. Hosting, maybe one day, if technology changes, I'll sit there in my seat and be streaming mental health moment from like the sky. But nonetheless, thanks for joining here. And today's mental health moment, I wanted to share with you just a reminder to you, because again, it's the beginning of the year, a lot is happening. There's a lot of different energy that typically happens around the beginning of the year. New you, or you may be saying new me, new things, great energy, all that sort of thing, which is good to have, right? But it's like anything, it's sort of like a honeymoon stage of every year that tends to happen for us, and then life happens, right? A couple months into the year. So when it comes to your self-care goals, hopefully that you already made, that we talk a lot about on mental health moment, just Uh, no, of course, the bumps in the road will come about. There's also just a lot of heaviness right now, I feel like, in the world. I do want to share my, kind of thoughts and prayers for those of you. I know many of you, because you put in the chat, reside in the California area, actually. So I definitely want to just continue to pray for your communities. You may have been affected in some way by the fires, or you may have known someone that was affected by the fires. And when it comes to natural disasters, it's just difficult, of course. Um, it's difficult for us to see all of it. It's difficult even if you're not, quote unquote, a part of it or in that community. It's difficult for us to, obviously see it on social media too. There's thankfully, as I've seen, and typically happens with natural disasters, a lot of compassion that people are showing, a lot of kindness that's being shown, a lot of rallying, coming together as a community, which is a beautiful thing to see. Um, and also, I know there's a lot of hurt and pain and loss, like just so much loss, and a lot of emotions come about, of course, with sadness and anxiety and helplessness sometimes, or survivor guilt. Like a lot of things comes out of tragedy, and traumatic events like that, like not or like the fires, for example. So again, I don't. It's so hard. I don't want to minimize and say just hang in there. Like it's something that's really difficult and it just takes time. But I encourage you again, if you live in the area or if you know of someone, just continue to do what you also need to do to, as best as possible, work on taking care of your mental health, work on reaching out to others, seeing how best you are in a place to support others, whatever that may look like, because that's going to be really, really important during these times. And just know that it just takes a lot of time to heal from things like that. So I just wanted to offer that to you all, because I know a lot of times when I put, let me know where you're at in the chat, I see a lot of California sometimes in there. So my thoughts and prayers are definitely with you through this time. Um, so again, though, just know that I'm just going to state my strong opinion. The world is good. There's a lot that we see. There's just a lot that we see online, but also the world is good, and there are good people out there, and there's people that can be in a place of support for you or someone that you know. So, so I wanted to just remind you of that again, as different things happen in the world, as different things happen this year, to to be in a place where you're continuing to work on also thinking about your mental wellness through that time. And one of the things I wanted to share with you on today's mental health moment is a reminder for you to be in a place of stillness. And I say that, I know it's hard. I know it's hard. A lot of times we are very busy and extremely inundated with information. We're extremely just presented with a lot of information on a daily basis. And it can be difficult to like block out all the noise, if that makes sense. And when I say noise, it may be something personally going on in your life, something that's happening in the world, something that happened to your best friend, something that happened to your family member or your neighbor or whomever around you. It's a skill that it, it's a skill that takes time to develop, but it's working on getting into a place of stillness. And what I mean by that, there's a lot of different ways to do it. So I'm gonna give you just a couple of quick examples today on today's mental health moment. The most important thing, though, that I want you to remember is that it is important physically and emotionally and spiritually and mentally to get into a place of stillness, however that may look like. Okay. So, for example, if you are a morning person, let's say many of you, if you've been on mental health moment for long enough with me, you know I am not a morning person. I do have morning routines, but I'm not a like early to rise, a 4 or 5 a.m. type of person at all. That's not my jam. However, if that's it for you, cool. Right? If you're a morning person, like I need to get up early. There's a gazillion books I feel like written about like get up earlier. Right. So if that is you, then maybe in that really early part of the morning, that is when you have your moments of stillness. Moments of stillness could look like taking some deep breaths. I chuckle when I say this because it's one of the most it's one of the most like beneficial things, but it's just extremely underrated for us to do that, for us to reset and recharge, to get our minds and our body back to a calm place, is really important. And I'm really hoping this video is not glitching here. Hopefully, it's not glitching because I'm on the Wi-Fi of the at the airport in this place. So hopefully, this video is coming through okay. Um, but yeah, so being in a place of stillness, for example, like I said, if you're a morning person, it could be taking some deep breaths in the morning, being in a place of stillness. And it doesn't have to just be mornings, of course. If you're more of an afternoon person and you're taking that break in the afternoon and being in a place of stillness when you are able to. I recognize we all have different schedules. For some of you, you're retired. You're like, I got plenty of time on my hands. For some of you, you're working multiple jobs. You're like, I don't feel like I have any time at all. And a lot of things in between. But know that it's important to find those times. Maybe it's in the evening, maybe it's before you go to bed. Where can you find those moments of stillness? And when I say stillness, I mean for your mind and your body, like taking a pause, taking a break, right? Even if for some of you who know from mental health moment, even if it's taking a minute, 60 seconds, like you're working on retraining your mind and your body that you're allowed to reset and recharge, which is critically important for your physical and mental health. So that's what I wanted to share with you today on today's mental health moment is just a quick reminder. Oh, I know many of you, and thank you, by the way. I know many of you tune in every single Tuesday to mental health moment, like religiously. I see your names, just tuning back in. So kudos to you, though. I appreciate that, of course, as a host here, but I am really excited for you that you're learning these things. But I did want to share with you that quick tip to again being intentional this year about getting into places of stillness, right? So again, if it's morning, if it's afternoon, if it's in the evening, if you need to even take a walk and maybe on your walk, I don't know, maybe you're walking around a lake, there's a little like a park bench or a park or wherever it is, and you can just sit and be still, right, for a moment, or wherever it is for you. Maybe it's where you live. You just sit and take a moment of stillness. But I encourage you to do that. Um, I encourage you to really think about doing that as you as we head into this new year. No, it does not make your problems go away. I tell you all, I really need a magic wand. I've been waiting for this magic wand, you all, which I still don't have. But it doesn't make all your problems go away. Of course not. But what you can do with that is work on getting your mind in a calmer place, being still, and well, that's a whole nother mental health moment. I was going to say quickly though, but also when you are in a place of stillness, maybe it's even what we call micro meditation, or just a quiet time for you. Sometimes when you have answers to things you need clarification on in your life, the answers will come during that time because you've given yourself a break from everything else surrounding you, which can be really overwhelming sometimes. You decide what to tune into, right? We decide what to tune into. So you can hopefully decide to be intentional and tune into the fact that you deserve to have moments of peace and moments of stillness and moments of downtime where you can just work on resetting your mind and your body. So I leave you with that on today's mental health moment. For those of you who are new to mental health moment, if you want to connect, it's Dr. Nekeshia Hammond on all social media platforms. Happy to connect with you all again in the next, I think, probably week or two or so. I'll share with you the link to the virtual women's conference that I'll be speaking at, and also drnekeshiahammond.com. Myself and my team will be doing our best this year to make sure we keep that updated with new events and new things coming down the pipeline. There's a lot of new announcements that I'll have actually coming up here in the next couple of weeks for you all, but I did want to share those, and I will see you all next week. Be blessed. Have an amazing week. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, guys.